Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to pay attention to one more company from the energy sector which is based in Norway. Again, it's a quite small player in terms of capitalization. It's about 15 billion Norwegian crowns only, so it's roughly 1.3 billion euros. And the stock price can behave accordingly. It can be very volatile. So after the third quarter report, which happened in October 31st, where the share price barely moved, several important things happened that, in my opinion, can change the picture for the Aker Solutions. And first of all, what does the company say about itself? What do? They deliver integrated solutions, products and services to the global energy industry. We enable low carbon oil and gas production and develop renewable solutions to meet future energy needs. So basically they provide engineering solutions to the oil and gas and wind and carbon capture segments. I've been following the company for quite a while and it's been forming my portfolio from the dividend side. This company pays dividends, and I check news daily. When I opened the news section, I saw that there was the news related to the insider trade. After reading this news, I found out that the top management, the CEO, the chief financial officer and one of the executive vice presidents all bought shares through the company share purchase program. It's stated here what kind of program is, what are the conditions. So each of them invests in a significant personal amount. They paid the same price as the market with no discount. And the real benefit comes only if they hold these shares until the end of 2028, when the company will reward them with extra matching shares in 1:2 ratio. And these conditions you can basically read in this news. And the key point here is that these additional shares come from Aker Solutions treasury stock, so there is no dilution for existing investors. For me, this is a strong signal that top management is locking in hundreds of thousands of Norwegian crowns for several years because they believe in where the company is heading. By the way, let me show you the amount they bought. We open the document here. We can see the name of the chief executive officer, that he bought shares worth 500,000 Norwegian crowns. Same amount was bought by chief financial officer and a bit less was purchased by the vice president, 315 Norwegian crowns. Let me clarify one thing. There is quite a few companies which start from the name Aker. There is Aker ASA, there is Aker BP, there is Aker Wind, Aker Carbon Capture, etc. Just to show you that there is some relation to it. This company Aker ASA, it's a parent company of Aker Solutions and Aker BP. So Aker Solutions is a service and technology provider that works on projects across the energy sector, including oil and gas, offshore wind and carbon capture. It has a subsidiary relationship with Aker ASA. Aker Solutions has an alliance with Aker BP for maintenance and modification projects on several of Aker BP's offshore field. Okay, so this is the different company. This is the parent of Aker Solutions. Let's go to the numbers. First of all, if I open the third quarter results and I go straight to the outlook section, they already made preliminary perspective. They say that at this early stage, so it was end of October, we expect revenues in 2026 to come down to a level of about 45 billion Norwegian crowns. They say come down to a level because in this year they plan to have roughly 60 billion of Norwegian crowns in revenue. We got this preliminary plan, and after this we see the several contracts being awarded. This one, Aker Solutions extends role as Equinor's inspection services provider in Norway. This was the sizable contract, which is, when they say here the sizable contract, you can go down and look what does it mean. That they define it as between 0.5 billion and 1.5 billion of Norwegian crowns. Also, they secured another significant brownfield services contract from ExxonMobil Canada. When they say significant contract, also you can check what does it mean. It's between 1.5 billion and 2.5 billion of Norwegian crowns here. Also, it was worth paying attention that this is the 5-year extension to the original engineering, procurement and construction activities. So basically they extend existing contract. For me, what does it mean as for the shareholder of the company? That the client has seen how they execute and they are ready to extend the contract. So they are happy with the company. And also we see another contract has been just awarded basically 2 days ago. Another substantial contract, which is here defined as between 2.5 billion and 4 billion Norwegian crowns. And in addition to what I've just said about previous contract, this one is Aker Solutions has signed a 6-year frame agreement with ConocoPhillips Scandinavia, which includes an option to extend the contract for up to 2 additional 3-year periods. And this contract is an extension for brownfield maintenance and modification. Again, this is the extension of the existing contract, and again it means that another company, which is ConocoPhillips, are happy with their services and they are willing to continue collaboration with the Aker Solutions. So for me it says a lot that the company executes really well and it's a trusty partner. Also, it's worth mentioning that the company owns about 20% of the company which is called OneSubsea. It's a joint venture between SLB and Subsea 7 and Aker Solutions. So they receive quarterly dividends from the OneSubsea business, and in the previous quarter they received this amount. So it's another source of income for the company. As I mentioned, that this company I consider to be as a dividend one. So let's see what they say. Ordinary dividend policy with target to distribute 40 to 60% of adjusted net income to shareholders. Whatever they earn, from 40 to 60% of this net income will come back to the shareholders in terms of dividends. So if we have a look at the company's trend, it's been quite broken, going up and down. Again, as we discussed, it's quite a small company, so it can move quite a lot. It go up 40%, can go down 27%, but some moves are related. For those who is not experienced in the stock markets, some moves like this, for example, have a look, the huge one here, 40%. It's not just the price drop happen, it happens when they pay out the dividends. It's so-called a dividend cap, and they paid out here a special dividend of 21 Norwegian crowns. Just to remind you, the price at that level was 50 Norwegian crowns. So basically the dividend yield at that time was 40%, minus the tax, obviously. Look, what I was trying to pay attention to, the company has been flat more or less since July this year, and we had the earnings report here, which was, in my opinion, quite positive. Yes, they reduced the guidance in comparison to what they had during this year. This year was quite a it was a record for the company. You see, they plan to deliver 62 billion Norwegian crowns, but the company says it's 60. Not sure why it's 62 mentioned here. And then it's showing a decline here for the upcoming years. So the forecast was, here it's mentioned 46, but the company says 45. But since the company made its outlook for the next year, it was done in the end of October. And after the report has been done at the end of October, where they plan to have 45 billion Norwegian crowns of revenue, let's remember that the company was awarded 3 additional contracts, 2 substantial ones, 1 sizable. So when you put all of this together, insiders buying from the top management, the backlog is still growing, multiple long-term contract extensions from the major energy players, and the revenue guidance is more or less known from the previous report. And again, it was guided before we got additional 3 contracts. So for me, these are all positive signals that the company is not only stable, but actually building momentum for the next few years. And remember about the dividend policy that they've got, 40 to 60% of net income. So if we look at the projections, which are very roughly pointed here, but for the next year, the estimate plan is 4.5 of earnings per share, so we can count off more or less half of it will come as a dividend to us. Also, if we have a look at what the analysts say about the valuation of the company, it's a very wide band of the prices they offer. Basically here, the average 1-year analyst price target is around 35 Norwegian crowns. Just for the reference, at this particular moment it's almost 30 NOK. However, there is a very large spread in the estimated value, ranging from around 30 NOK, which is now, to over 150 NOK. The analysts which are using DCF model, they suggest the fair value would be 156 Norwegian crowns, which seems a bit too far away from where we now. Another one suggests that it's gonna be from 30 to 44. So, and there is nothing we can rely on here except the valuation ratios. So this is the ratios where you compare the numbers, the ratios with the other companies in these sectors, in this segment. And it's mentioned that the company's current valuation metrics, like price to earnings, is lower than both its peers and the Norwegian energy services industry average, which often indicates the stock may be a good value. For me personally, I like this company. I follow it quite closely. I like everything that relates to the Norwegian engineering. It makes me feel very reliable about the company. And the way they execute and their reputation lets me sleep well as for the investor of this company. And I'm quite confident in their management. For me, it's definitely a nice player for the dividend part of my portfolio. And again, as I told you before in my previous video, this is not the recommendation for you. I'm just sharing my perspective. I'm trying to explain why I pay attention to the company and the reasons. So make your own research before you do any movements in your portfolio, if you wish to invest in it or not. So rely on your own thoughts and the facts you found. This is how I follow it, and please do your work by yourself and be responsible for your choice. Okay, thank you guys for watching this video again, and I'll see you in the next one. I'll appreciate any comment with regards to this company if you follow it as well. I might miss some important information, so if you have anything to add, please feel free. I'll be glad to read it and to discuss with you. And likes and subscription will be much appreciated. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.